here. I don't know if you're conscious of the blue that is out there right now, but it's shifted, especially in the morning light. So I encourage you to really kind of soak yourself into the blue sky that is out there. It's definitely a change in color. And these are, and the birds are singing. It's so amazing how I will hear, distant birds going. I mean, it's such a gift. I mean, it's such an incredible gift, and there really is this change of energy that is happening. And as we're, really, March 1, I think, is Monday, and so we'll be moving towards the vernal equinox very shortly. So we have a lot of.
Rose, can you make yourself bigger?
You need to pin me. Yeah, I can't control that. You need to pin me.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, see if you can, it's usually on the upper right corner, the 3 little blue dots that are on the top. Yeah. If you do that, then everybody else gets small and it's so funny how we just keep, you just have to keep going over these things. It's amazing. For me too. So we're inviting this spring, the early parts of the spring, late winter. Is this late winter time where we're beginning to feel a little bit of a thaw and really beginning to feel if you're, connected to the trees, recognizing how the energy of the trees are beginning to change as well. It's all very exciting, but we're still in our winter practice. So I'm going to go deep into quads and lower back today. Really, getting our quads to loosen up and in this particular class that we're doing. So index finger and thumb together in Chi Mudras, we just move into our own inner landscape. Allow yourself to breathe right into the belly. Settle yourself where you are and be grateful for this time. Let everything else go. We bring in a little bit more of the sun. We have a beautiful sun today. Beautiful blue sky. Just let yourself breathe into the power of transition, because we are always in transition, but it seems to be moving a little faster now. And then keeping your breath for long counts into the belly, and really work your diaphragm. Allow your diaphragm to do the deep inhale and exhale that's needed to get the breath all the way down into the belly. As you settle your mind onto watching the breath, be a witness to the breath. And then as you are here, letting the sits bones come onto the floor, lift up a little more through the spine and engage your belly. Let your belly and your lower back feel that connection. Use that all the time through all the practices, belly and low back. And now with your next inhale, bring your breath into the belly, then let it rise all the way up to the lungs, and then from there, all the way up to the base of the neck. And you want to hold at the very top of the inhale, and then exhale out from the throat, down into the lungs, and then again into the belly. When we invite this deeper connection to yourself in this inner landscape, allow yourself to feel whatever needs to be moved through the practice today. We always come into the practice with an open mind to see what is there and what can actually be released. And then with your next exhale, whenever that happens for you, allow your chin to come down to the chest as you breathe into the opening of the neck and upper part of the back. And just notice if there's any tension, just allow your breath to move to that space. And then with every exhale, just allow your chin to move a little closer, using the weight of your head to bring it a little bit closer. Nothing hard, nothing strong, just a gentle exhale and wait. And do that a few times, where you allow your body to catch up with the breath, and the breath to connect into the body. And then releasing your hands from your thighs and bringing them to the floor on either side of the hips. And on the inhale, lift the arms and lift the gaze in the seated sun breath. And we turn the palms and exhale with your fingertips down and chin to the chest. And then the palms roll upward again, arms and gaze all the way up. Turn the palms and exhale with your fingertips down, chin to the chest, 2 more times. Palms roll all the way up. Turn the palms and exhale. And last time. Palms roll all the way up. Hands go to prayer over your head, then down to the heart as you close your eyes for a moment and breathe into your own inner landscape. I'm just taking a moment to feel your presence in your room. Feel your breath and your hips grounding you to the earth. And then lifting up through the spine as we feel and invite this transition that is happening around us to be part of this practice. Into that transition, let's open up our eyes, release our hands, stay in a seated pose for a moment. Just do a gentle twist. Taking the left hand onto the right knee, breathing in, not even twisting your head too far, just a gentle twist. Come all the way back to center, and then right hand onto the left. And again, as you're coming back to center, lift up through the spine and left hand onto the right knee again, and then release and come all the way back and right hand onto the left, and come all the way back. Taking the head of the arm bone up toward the ear and back, and then from the back to the front. And then once again, coming back to center with your left arm onto the floor, right arm reaching up and stretching. And this is where you start really allowing one part of your body to stay stable, while another part is opening and you're breathing into the side body. Nice deep breath. Now take your hand and your gaze and go down towards your knees. Now you're going to feel this stretch through the lower part of your back, into more of the obliques here, and then rotate back to where we were to begin with. And then release and come all the way down. Left arm reaches up and over. We start with grounding the hip and breathing into the left side body. Nice deep breath. Now you're going to twist, turn so that your head is facing towards your knee. Stretch the lower part of your back, more of the obliques. Nice deep breath, and then release back to center, and then come all the way back up. Good. Come over your legs and come into the table pose. Fingerprints down back of the palm knuckles. Knees underneath your hips. Exhale into cat. And inhale, cow. Just moving back and forth. You want your spine to be able to move in all directions. This is up and down, contracting and expanding. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow, tailbone all the way up. A few more times. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. And last time, exhale, cat. And inhale, cow. Good. Whole cow for a moment. You can really feel your belly release down towards the earth. Feel the stretch through the lower part of your back, your lumbar spine, with sit bones going way up towards the ceiling. Taking that breath and then just letting your tailbone go down slightly so you're coming back into a more neutral pose. Then get your right toes straight back behind you. I want to pulse the toes. So you're going to lift up, be parallel to the floor, and then bring your toes back to the earth. Lift up, parallel to the floor, and then back to the earth. Inhale up, exhale down. Just kind of notice if you're cracking in the middle, whether you need to be a little stronger about bringing your lower tips of the rib cage up. I crack on a regular basis. You just have to be a little more aware of how I'm not lengthening through my spine. So we want to engage that part here, the Uddiyana Bandha, up towards your spine. Good. Now I'm going to add the left arm up, full pointer, breathing in. Then release, come all the way back down. Left toes start onto the floor, and then you're going to lift up, parallel to the floor. Dial your toes down towards the floor, heel up towards the ceiling, and then pulse. Toes to the floor, and then lift up. Toes to the floor and lift up. And see if you can do that with your glutes. Toes to the floor, so your leg is straight, heel is stretching. And inhale up. Exhale, release, inhale up. Exhale, release, inhale up. Exhale, release. Last time, inhale up. Exhale, release. Now bring the leg up and add the right arm up. Full pointer. Nice deep breath. And then release, come all the way back, knees out to the side, toes together. Roll back, extended child. This is the first time that we're doing this in the class this morning, so you may want to be gentle. You may want to modify, maybe bringing your forearms a little bit closer, let your head go down towards the earth. Breathing in, and if your hips are way, way up, find a balance between your head and your hips. So you're not fighting the hips. Breathing in, a nice deep breath. So even for where we are right now, just let your breath move to what is already opening in your body. And then inhale and come all the way back up into the table pose, then to a standing pose. Feet mat width apart, and you're rotating all the way around in one direction. And then the other. Be very conscious of your feet flat onto the floor. You really want to feel the four corners of your feet. Let your hips feel the action. And then reverse in the opposite side. Good, then come back to center with both feet together. Hands onto your hips. I want to do a little bit of the Mula Bandha here, where you're taking your tailbone down, bringing your belly up towards the spine, and then stretching it. Now the upper part of your back and your arms are not really moving. Tailbone down, belly in, nice deep breath, and then stretch it. So it's a cat and cow here, but really allow your inner groins to stretch back. Happiness in the low back of inner groins, stretch, quads, stretch. So this is a really important pose that I do on a regular basis. You know, some things you just have to keep lubricating, right? Nice deep breath. Good. And then release that. Come all the way forward into an Uttanasana, taking your sits bones way up towards the ceiling, head down towards the floor. Keep a bend in your knees, or at least just keep your knees soft. Don't let your knees just snap back. Knees soft. I want you to stretch your inner groins and your hips back. So bend the knees, take the top of the thighs back, head down. Inhale, halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Arms swing out to the side as we inhale all the way back up to a standing Tadasana. Exhale, fold. Shins forward, thighs back, head down. Arms are going to reach out to the side. Inhale all the way up. We're going to do this a little quickly. Exhale, fold. Shins forward, thighs back, head down. A little bit of a rhythm here. Inhale, arms all the way back up. Last time. Exhale, and fold. Shins forward, thighs back, head down. Take your right foot back into the runner stretch. Hands on either side of your foot. Take the left hip back, top of the head, thigh on the right side up. Heel up, and then press your heel back. That just engages your whole foot. So now you're really hugging the midline. Then step forward, right foot forward, left foot back. Take the top of the right hip back. Breathing in, top of the left thigh up, left heel up, and then press it back. So that you're really hugging, hugging, hugging into the midline. And then step your right foot up to meet the left, head down towards the floor. Arms swing out to the side as we inhale all the way up. Hands clasp, arms up to the side, up towards the ceiling. Exhale over to the left or right, it doesn't matter. Inhale all the way up and opposite side. Make sure your knees are strong and your knees are tracking over your ankle. You're not hyperextending. Feet onto the floor, four corners of the feet. Nice deep breath. Good. And then release and come all the way back and shake that out. Woo. Hands onto your your shoulders, and let the elbows create the circle. Going all the way around. And then from the back to the front. Good. And then release. Let your right leg go forward and your left leg back into a runner stretch. Hands onto your foot. High Anjali Asana. Right arms are going to straight up. From here, you're just going to twist, turn. So your left hand is on your right knee. Inhale all the way up. Take the top of the left thigh back. Rotate over. You're hugging in to the midline. Nice deep breath. Release. Come all the way back. Switch your legs. Left foot forward. Right foot back. Find your balance to begin with. So you always want to move from a place of stability. So if you're already starting to get a little wonky here, take your time, take your breath. Find where you can hug into the midline. Four corners of the feet down. Your right heel is lifting up and back, and you're hugging in. Then you're going to rotate around that center line. Right hand is crossing over, and left arm is back. Taking a nice deep breath. High Anjali Asana. Little twist. Good. Come back with arms straight up. Nice deep breath. Now bring both hands onto the floor. Right foot comes up to meet the left, head down towards the floor. Arms swing out to the side as we inhale all the way up. Hands go to pray over your head, then down to your heart. So we're going to take the blocks, put them onto the side, use the top side, and have your time nearby as well. So we're going to go into a quad stretch. First quad stretch, deeper quad stretch this morning. Right foot forward, left foot back. So we're in low Anjali Asana. I'm going to exhale forward. Remember to listen. It's not about taking your hip and going too far. You just want to get the quad to stretch. So here we are. Exhale forward. So you can see that it would be easy for me to just kind of pump all the way through, but that's not what I'm looking for. I really want to protect here. I want to stretch here. Nice deep breath. And it's slower. Just taking a nice deep breath. And then release. And then exhale forward. And then release. And this is how we gain our ability to listen, to just breathe where we are. This time we're going to take go forward, lift the left knee, right hand holds onto the foot, and you may need a tie here. And you're going to move the head of the arm bone up toward the ear and back. And what I with the whole thing. So it's a little deeper, nice deep breath. And you may not go as far, but you're going to feel the stretch through the quad. And then maybe take your left knee towards your right foot a little bit. That's going to create a little bit more tension in the stretch. And then release that, come all the way back. Let's do extended child. Toes together, heels, knees out, forearm down. And again, a deep breath. So we're still in this winter practice because it is still winter. Now it's beginning to thaw a little bit more. I can guarantee you that all the work that we're doing in this deep work will pay off. It always pays off, but come springtime, you feel like you're unleashing. It's kind of like coming out of a twist. And all of a sudden you're feeling all that blood rush through your organs. With a nice deep breath. Good. Then inhale, come all the way back up. Other side, left foot forward, right foot back. No two sides. Oh, is that right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Left foot forward, right foot back. I switch positions. All right. So again, we're listening to the right hip, and you're stretching and inhaling up. Again, it's the quad. Quads really have a lot to do with the lower back. Opening the lower back really is about your inner groins opening. So we're just careful to stretch, careful to listen, but we want the stretch. We want to hug you, we want to make sure your muscles are engaged, that you're not doing this with floppy muscles. So I curl my toes under to just keep the integrity of my right foot, my right leg in. My muscles are engaged. Exhale forward. Inhale up. Last time. Exhale forward. Now you're going to take your right knee up with your left hand. Bring your hip to your foot. See that movement? Hip to the foot. Okay, so we're a little bit more on the top of the kneecap, which I don't like staying here, but that's kind of how the position is. Then you're rolling to the top of the kneecap, allowing your quad to be stretched. You can keep it a little bit close, rotate the torso. I'm twisting to see you. Maybe a twist in your body feels right at this time, I don't know. But I'm going to go back to forward, and now I'm going to take the top of the kneecap towards my left heel, just pulling it up towards the blocks. That gives me a really deeper stretch. Good. Then release, come all the way back. Let your blocks go off to the side for a moment. Take your mat, hold the outside of your mat, come into a modified table pose, holding the outside of your mat. Curl the toes under and really lift up. So you're ripping your mat away from you, letting your top of your thighs stretch back. Now bend your knees generously. Take the sits bones way back and breathe into this. Now you may notice that your rib cage is falling. Bottom tips of the rib cage where your diaphragm is. Ooh, on the bottom, bring that up. Just bring it up, even if it's a millimeter. Lengthen through the spine. Begin to feel that connection. And let your head continue the line of your spine and neck. Don't let your head go down towards the ground, because that's going to put way too much pressure on your spine, on your neck. It's up, your head is stretching with your hands away from your hips. Taking a nice deep breath. And then release and come all the way back down. And once again, just move into a child's pose and just take a moment to breathe. So when we open up these places in our body, we need to acknowledge the neural connection. Let the breath move into that space. It's all about making that connection. Good. And then release back into a kneeling pose, and we're going to do the reverse of our foot. We're going to lift up so that we get a little stretch to the front of our foot instead of just the back of our foot. So your hands are on either side of your knee and you're lifting up. So I'm showing it to you sideways. If you feel like you need a little bit of a lift, lifting the floor up a little bit because it's a little easier for you, take your blocks and lift and come back. I'm pressing down on the blocks to just get a little reverse stretch on your feet. There's socks and shoes in winter, it's just not happy. And then release and come back down. Good. All right, so come all the way back, and we're going to come into a downward dog. Fingerprints down back of the palm knuckles. If someone is having trouble with their wrists, you can move into dolphin. Right leg is going to lift up. Bend into the left knee. Bring your leg down, your right leg down, so that you can bring your bottom tips of the rib cage up. And then stretch through your spine. Right heel presses away. Then stretch your left knee straight. Nice deep breath. Stack your hips one on top of the other. Make sure that your left arm is not collapsing. So you're stacking your hips right on top of left. Nice deep breath. Left shoulder wants to collapse, resist that. And it might be a good time to bring your rib cage up as well. Good. And then release and come all the way down. Come back into the table pose for a moment and just sit back before we do the other side, taking a nice deep breath. So the 3 bandhas. In Anusara, we talked about them in terms of loops, but I'm moving more directly into the 3 bandhas. Mula bandha, Uddiyana bandha, Jalandhara bandha. 3 bandhas that work together and when you begin to connect those centers, that's when you can really push your practice without actually doing it with energy as opposed to just muscling into postures, which is really the miraculous part for me of the yoga practice. All right, so let's do the other side. Fingerprints down back of the palm knuckles. So we've got to get used to working with the centers, and that's part of what I've been doing this winter. So we're going to lift the left leg up this time. Now notice when I bring my left leg up, if I go way, way high, which sometimes feels really good, I collapse in the middle of my back. So I don't want to do that anymore. I want my back to be stronger, especially as I'm getting older. So rib cage up. Takes my leg down. I don't know if you can see that. See, I can go way, way up and then take it down. I'd much rather have the strength. Stretch the heel back, bend into the right knee. Nice deep breath. Good. And just make that a little adjustment in your own body. Where does your body feel strong? Where are your hands strong? Where is your back connected? Can you feel the rib cage moving up? Good. Now stack your hips one on top of the other. Straighten your right leg. And make sure your right arm, your right top of the arm, the head of the arm is not collapsing because it wants to. Because if you're compensating for your waist. Lift it up. Let the stretch be in your waist. And then release and come all the way back. Come back into downward dog, and then come back into a kneeling pose. Woo, taking both of your blocks. And now we're going to stretch the hamstrings. So right leg is forward, left leg is back. Half Hanumanasana. Nice deep breath. Just take a moment to kind of breathe into where we are right now. And you're going to move the blocks to your heels, to your hips. Straighten your right leg. Heel down onto the floor, toes to your hips. So you want your toes spread, engage your muscles, and again, like I can round my back here, but I really want to go straight, watch the rib cage, and just take it forward. Take the top of the thigh back. This is where we teach your body to really work with the top of the thigh. I want my block so that you can see it. Top of the thigh back. We're not looking to go, just collapse into this. We're looking to teach our body how to open the hips, open the lower part of our back. Good, then inhale up, exhale, forward. You see I'm not going far, but I'm very conscious of what I'm stretching, which is here and here. Exhale forward. You may feel it in different parts of your body, because that's where in your body it needs to open. Inhale up, just be aware of that. Exhale forward. And inhale up. Come back to a low Anjani asana. Should feel like a nice relief at this stage. And then switch your legs. Left leg forward, right leg back. Blocks are by near your hips. Then lift your toes on the left side, heel down, drag it back. Here we go on this side. It's important to get this hinging at the hip business, because we really are used to hinging from the lower back, which is why we have so much back injuries in our society. And so here's an opportunity, look at that, I'm just stretching the top of my thigh back to get the stretch. So I'm not even moving my torso as much as taking the top of the thigh back. This is giving me a really good stretch. Nice deep breath. I'm going to listen deeply, because in my body it's inner groins that are really making the stretch. And I sure don't want to hurt those inner groins. It takes a long time to heal those. And inhale up. Good. And come all the way back. All right. How are we doing? Are we doing good? Are we good? Are you guys good? Hello? You good?
The volume is a little down, Rose.
What's that?
The volume went down on you.
Oh, it did? Okay. Well, maybe a fluctuation. Sorry. Is everybody good is what I'm saying. Everybody's good. All right.
Well,
Take your time.
I could see you, but I can't get it.
You can see me, but what?
There's no way I can get you bigger.
All right, well, all right, so we're going to go on to our bellies, but take your time, because we're going to go into a big quad stretch here. And this is where you're going to see whether your hips are really tight. The hip flexors are tight. So coming all the way onto your belly, there's going to be a couple of versions of this. If you're really tight quad, and what I mean by that is when you lift your leg up and your hip goes up and you can't get your hip down, you want to stay down here. If you are able to keep your hips down, you can come a little higher up to do this quad stretch, but only if your hip can manage that. So we're not here to hurt.
Rose, can't hear you that well, and I can't see you anymore for whatever reason.
Trisha, you have to go to a mute and speaker view.
Yes. Thank you.
Mute.
And the speaker view. On the
I don't have,
upper right.
I don't have it today.
But all we have is you.
All right, so maybe you just need to mute so we can hear Rose, because we can't hear Rose at all because we hear you. Okay, now Rose, your volume is somehow, something happened to it, so we can't see you.
You can't see me?
Right. Can't hear and now can't see Rose.
Yeah.
All right, hold on.
Now we're seeing Mary. Mary, can you mute?
I'm muted, I think.
No,
you.
I see you too, Gina, now, before I
That's
go
because
on.
I'm talking. That's because I'm talking.
Right, if you're in speaker view, the person who is speaking is who you're gonna see. If you pin somebody, then everybody else goes into a smaller place.
Right.
So you've gotta get out of,
Now we see you, but we can't hear you that well.
boy, I don't know
Now
what
it's better. Now that's good.
I think there may be variations in the Wi-Fi is all I can say.
Everyone needs to just be muted at all times.
Okay, well, all right. Mary Lou, I guess you're gonna have to mute.
What?
Mary Lou, you're gonna have to mute. All right, let's try again. All right, we're down. We're gonna do a big quad stretch here. For those that are watching by video, I'm sorry for that little bit of an interlude, but here we go. All right, and again, how do you know which position to go in is up to your hips and your quads, okay? So if you're down low, or if you're up here, and you can't get your hip to go down, then you need to stay down here. You want to just go where it's easy to work with. So I have your tie nearby. We're going to bring the right leg up, and the left leg up with the left arm, and you can turn to get your foot into your hand into your foot. I curl my toes, spread my toes so that I can bring my hand to the, so I can push my foot into my hand into my foot. Now I'm going to rotate back, but I'm going to do the same thing we did before, which kind of bring your hip up towards your heel and then let it settle back down. So that you're kind of letting your hip go up and then settling it down. Again, I'll show it to you higher if it's getting it up and then rotating it down. Just a little bit of a exercise. Again, move the head of the arm bone up toward the ear and back. You want to open your front body, not close it down. And where my hand is, you would have your tie. And breathe in a nice deep breath. Good, then release. Come all the way back down. Just let your hands go stack one on top of the other. Forehead onto the floor. And just breathe into the stretch, because it really is just allow your breath to move into the space that is opening. Taking a nice deep breath. Staying there for a moment, just feeling your front body against the earth. And then lifting your head and positioning your hand in the right place. So either your left hand is parallel to the floor and you're lifting up, it's more underneath your head of the arm bone, or it's a little bit beyond your head and you're more onto the floor. Either way, you're going to lift your right leg up, move your right hand behind or use your tie, move the right head of the arm bone up toward the ear back. I want to go deeper, so lifting my hip up to meet my heel, then turning back to center. This is a much deeper twist, a much deeper stretch in the quad. And it requires that listening. Spread your toes, lead your hand actively into your foot into your hand. And breathe. Then release that, come all the way back to center. Hands underneath the head of the arm bone. All 10 toes onto the floor. Move the arm bone up toward the ear back and move into a Bhujangasana. Just see if you can actually lift up more because of all the quad work that we've been doing. So let the head of the arm bone move up and back. When you're up as high as you are, Linda, move your head of the arm bone up and back more. Get your head to move back. Good, your side, yeah, there you go. Bring your wrists back to your stomach. Wrists back to the stomach. Let your heart move a little bit more. Now curl the toes under and lift all the way back up into a downward facing dog. With a nice deep breath. Then walk your feet in, walk your hands in, or bend in your knees and hop forward into Anusara. Head down towards the floor. Arms swing out to the side as we inhale all the way up. Hands go to prayer to your head and then down to your heart. All right. So we're going to do Ardha Chandrasana. If you want to move to Ardha Chandrasana, you can. We're going to do Ardha Chandrasana first. So let your block be on the left side of your mat. And what you're looking for is for your hand to be onto the block. The head of the arm going right over your block. So your left foot is positioned in a way that allows you to reach for the block. Hand onto your hip. Okay, so what we're going to do is bend into the knee. Left knee, find the block, engage your belly. Don't let your rib cage pull out too far. Bring the rib cage up. Stack your hips one on top of the other. Rotate the torso, add the arm. Leg is parallel to the floor. Heel pressing away. You might be able to find balance. Take your hand off the block. Good. And then release and come all the way back. All right. Other side. I'm just going to show it from this side. Right leg forward, left leg back. You're not. No two sides are the same. Never meant to be. Take a nice deep breath. Center yourself first. Know where you are in space. Bend into the right knee. Find your block. Hopefully you've placed it in the correct place. And then once you find your balance, stack your hips one on top of the other. The leg doesn't go high. Then add the arm. Nice deep breath. Make sure that your right knee is not locked. You want to just keep hugging in. And then maybe taking your hand off the block. There you go. And release and come all the way back. Good. You shake that out. We're going to do that again. I'm going to add the quad stretch to it, the Chapasana part to this. It's optional. You can try it or not. Doesn't matter. Just what's most important in any of these poses is to find where you are in space. Have everything begin to, the Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, Jalandhar Bandha, begin to work together for that inner stability, that hugging the midline. Bending into the left knee, you're going to bring your hand onto the block. I'm lifting up, I'm lifting up my right leg, but before I do anything, I'm bringing my knee into my chest, taking the top of my right foot, just like we did in the pose before, and then rotating the torso. Ardha Chandrasana. If I can balance my foot into my hand, I can release my hand from the block, finding that center line. Good. And watch out, because you can snap. It's like one of those little snap things. Good. Kind of like explode out of it. Good. Other side, and you can always be just doing Ardha Chandrasana. Another beautiful pose, half moon, although we're in full moon time right now. Nice deep breath again. Find your center, find your breath. You always want to work from a place of a feeling like you are one with the breath. The breath is what really sustains you. Good. Bend into the right knee this time. Left hand finds a block. I'm going to lift up. Find my balance. Figure out where is my midline. Bend into the knee. Take the knee back behind me. Eventually begin to feel this part too in all of that. Come back and do a downward dog or a dolphin, whatever works for you right now. It's going to feel so good. Fingerprints down back of the palm knuckles. You can walk the dog, one heel up, one heel down. If you want a little more dynamic stretch, hold on to the edge of the mat like we did earlier in class. Bend into the knees, take the top of the thighs back. Woo! Nice deep breath. Good. And then walk your feet in, bring your hands in, if you're holding on to the outside of the mat, head down towards the floor, arms swing out to the sides, we inhale all the way up, hands go to prayer over your head, and then down to the heart. Okay, so we're going to use these open hips, right leg forward, left leg back. Clasp your hands behind you. See if you can really get a good stretch. After doing that, I can actually stretch a little bit more. You want to stay upright. Keep your energy right between your legs. Clasp your hands. And this is where that rib cage popping business comes in for me. So I'm bringing my hands back. So that's one level. Then I got to take my rib cage back. Then I'm putting more energy into my feet. And what I want to do is take your head down towards the earth with arms up in humble warrior. Good. So the right knee should be, your right ear should be by your right knee. Left foot solid onto the floor. You can always use your tie. Keep a bend in your elbow. Bend into your right knee. Yeah. Good. Then inhale and come all the way back up. Right where you are, just switch your feet. Now let's get the positioning correct. Arch and heel are in alignment with one another. Your torso is along the long side of the mat. Good. Clasp your hands. Bend into the right knee. So here, for me to stay stable before I start switching my torso, my heavy torso down towards my knee, I gotta make sure I've got a connection with my right little toe. So as I'm coming forward, I'm telling my right little toe, stay strong, stay strong, stay strong. Then coming forward, head down towards the earth, arm up. Humble warrior. I want you to see whether you can feel in your body the difference between having your quads open, the lower part of your back open in doing these poses with a nice deep breath. And then inhale and come all the way back up and shake that out. You're going to have you put on whatever clothes you want to cool down a little bit. Put on whatever clothes feels right. We're not necessarily going into Shavasana, but I just know that after doing that strong a practice, my body's going to cool down a lot. So both legs are out, inner spiral, toes sunny side up. And again, you're going to just come forward, maybe gently walking your hands forward. Again, I'm looking for top of the thighs down and back. Even here, top of the thighs, I'm hinging at the hips. There's the big thing. Hinging at the hips and connecting those three bandhas. So let's bring our hands up, because this is always very telling for me. Hands up, head back into your hands, and hands to your head. When I say keep your head in line with your spine and your neck, this is what I'm talking about. Talking about bringing this kind of energy using the Jalanhara Bandha so that it's engaged, pressing back into your, the head pressing back like your hands. But you can, if you teach your body to do this, you can do this without your hands. Now come forward. Feel the three centers connect. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana. Instead, if the Uddiyana Bandha is in, back to the Jalandhara Bandha, and there we go. Now we're talking 3 levels of power into your pose. Nice deep breath, inhale all the way back up. I love this because this also tells me how much I poke my rib cage out. How much power do I have in my middle? And inhale up. We're always looking for that kind of feedback. Good, then release, come all the way back up. Cross your left over your right. You can maybe bring your right leg around, but you gotta put your left hip down. You don't want your left hip just kind of hanging out there. You want to go back to center, that center line. That takes, you've got to go a little off center to find center in this pose. Right arm up, cross it over. I'm going to wrap my back to get my arm as low as I can, then take it back. Oh, I want my block. Take your block. Take your block to the left side of your hip, so you can press down on it and really get both the length and the pressure down and up at the same time. And rotate. I can guarantee you this is going to feel very different in the summer. Right now it's a little tight because our whole body is tight, but we're asking it to open and expand, even in this tightness. You can imagine what will happen in warmer weather. Nice deep breath. Find a place where you can breathe easily into the pose. And just carry that ease of breath back to center, all the way back to center. And then let both legs go straight out again, an inner spiral. Cross your right this time over your left and bring your left leg up, doing the same thing. Same off to begin with, and then I gotta right it. I gotta bring my torso across so that I can really feel my right hip grounded. Left arm crosses over. I'm going down as far as I can, then lifting up. My block is on the right side. Whew. Rotating deep. Just let it, it's meant to be tight, so we're just going to find the tightness, breathe into the tightness, and begin to let it go. Nice deep breath. You do not have to hold the tightness in your body. On a daily basis, you can let energy that does not support your wholeness go, which is part of certainly what this practice is all about, letting the energy go. Nice deep breath. Find that level of peace, find that level of breath. And then release that, come all the way back to center, both legs straight out, inner spiral only because you got a little tightness on the left side from that stretch, and then just come forward in a way that allows you to honor what your body needs. So your body might need like a full round here. I want to get my head to my knees. I want my hands to go by my feet, whatever it is. Or I just want to feel that stretch from my hips to my rib cage to my head. Whatever it is, whatever your body feels. What's going to make it feel strong? What's going to make it feel connected? And then, coming all the way up, fall onto your back, or right onto your back, and allow yourself to just breathe. A nice deep breath. Allowing your practice to just move through your body as you connect to the floor, connect to the earth, connect to your own center. bird strings in formation like beaded pearls, relating and individual all at the same time, creating strings of wings, designed wind, moving in sync with one another, destined to arrive somewhere new. So allow small movements to come back into your fingers and back into your toes. Let your knees float up into your chest and hug them in, gently rocking from side to side. And then roll to one side as you pause for a moment and breathe into your own inner landscape. And then continue the side roll all the way up to a seated pose, bringing your hands to prayer position at your heart center. And together we will do one Om. So take a breath in. May we have peace in our heart and peace in our mind. True and everlasting peace and healing on this planet. Namaste. You heard my Biden bells. I have my Biden bells going off every time at noontime.
Thank you, Rose.
Thank you.
Another adventure.
Another adventure.
It was a great class.
It
That was
wasn't
a class, Rose.
What's that?
It was great class.
Okay, good. I'm just going to turn the video off.